It's your boy Blue Magic, representing one half of the Mixed Tag Show and owner of For You Aware. Today's the 100th episode of WWT live on Twitch. If you haven't had an episode, tune in today because we're giving away cash prizes, we're giving away merch. It's the 100th episode. We're giving $100. You never know. 100. Honey, episode, WWT Live. Tune in, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. West Coast time. I'll be there. Are you?
Family, my name is Gerard Bonner. They call me the professor in these WWT live streets. And I got that name, well, I don't know. TK gave me the name. But what I do know for sure is it's been all kinds of fun working with WWT Live, providing news and entertainment for now 100 episodes. And yeah, that episode 100 is happening tonight. This Friday. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Check it out on Twitch, on YouTube, at WW Talk Pod. It's going to be crazy. We're going to have giveaways, like cash giveaways, like in your Cash App giveaways. But you got to be there. People are going to win merch, but you got to be there. Yeah, all kinds of things and great surprises, but you know the deal. You got to be there. So go to youtube.com/WWTalkPod. Go to twitch.tv/WWTalkPod and join us as a number of incredible luminaries and journalists across all of pro wrestling come together for this amazing concept we call WWT Live and celebrate 100 episodes. Shout out to TK and the crew. I'm just glad to be a part. Want to see your face in the place tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
You're Kane McCoy here from Women's Wrestling Talk Live, letting you know that our 100th episode airs this Friday, October 28th, fitting for Halloween weekend. Maybe we'll throw like that Halloween Havoc, spin the wheel, make the deal thing out. You can like have a chance to have a dentist appointment with Britt Baker or win Nikki Ash's superhero mask. We'll figure it out. Really, not really. 100th episodes. We're going to have cash prizes. We're going to have merch. Do you guys know how I'm going to pay for this? Cash prizes to give away and for merch. I'm going to use my WWE Superstar credit card. Same as the previous 99 episodes that you have watched. Look, man, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. non-Eastern. That's West Coast time. I think that's 11 p.m. for my brothers in London who watch NXT Europe and whatnot. 100th episodes of Women's Wrestling Talk Live. Shouts to the girl TK Trinidad, the genius behind this. Can't wait to see you. Twitch, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you watch. Thank you. We appreciate it. And we'll see you this Friday on Women's Wrestling Talk Live, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, in the universe, in the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, the Snickers galaxy, the Butterfinger galaxy. I'm excited for
T-1 minute. T-50 seconds. T-40 seconds. T-30 seconds. T-20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. Thank goodness. Welcome to WWT Live, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad. This is a very special episode. This is the 100th episode of WWT Live. And if you are here from the beginning, it has changed to this point. And the great changes, thankfully, I am not alone. We have Ella J in the building.
What's up? I thought I forgot I was just Ella, but today I am back to your residential Ella J, who I guess doesn't have 1,011 jobs today because TK forgot.
That part. It's been a long week. Ella J with 2,013 jobs.
Oh,
and
man.
Also we have the professor as well in the building.
Well, you know, TK is out here like Triple H giving people their full names back. Like it's a wonderful thing. So I was glad to be here in episode 1. Glad to be here for episode 100.
Whew, there it is. We have a lot of things going on. Like I said, or like you've seen on social media, this is the 100th episode. That means that cash prizes will be given away. And how you start is you should be following WWT Live. You should also be following all our co-hosts and tagging 3 friends. Once you do that, then we're going to give you a question to answer that you're answer in the live chat, and you will receive either merch or you will receive either merch or you'll receive some cash. Santana.
That's of course if they have the right answer, right?
That is if you have the right answer. Santana, yes, you are correct about you only have one name. One day you should learn your editor-in-chief's full name, and I do know how to spell it, but the saying, yeah, there's certain people, I'm gonna butcher her name too. Ariane, formerly Cameron
Andrews? Yeah, Ariane Andrews. You said it right.
I said it right now, right? But then when we're like face to face, always mess it up. Always.
Wow.
And I'm like, but I know I said it right. Like, so that's how that's how it is. Anywho, we are here. We are live. Everything is going off, but we are gonna do our first segment.
The top rope.
All right, who do we have first?
We have Miss Liv Morgan taking a little stab, or I guess getting stabbed by Chucky on October 26th, airing on Sci-Fi and USA Network. Liv Morgan made her, I think it's maybe her television debut, like besides like an actual series, I think it is. But she was a guest star on the recent episode of Chucky, where in the end she unfortunately met a unfavorable fate, or maybe favorable to her, because she's always wanted to get brutally murdered by Chucky, she said in an interview. And at the closing scene, they played that interview where Liv Morgan said she wanted to be stabbed by Chucky, and she goes, "I'm just kidding." And then before she can even finish her sentence, she takes like 4 bloody stabs from Chucky, and unfortunately dies. But luckily for us, she has recovered from her injuries and is likely going to appear on Friday Night Smackdown tonight. So shout out to a miraculous recovery from Liv Morgan appearing on Chucky.
Now, speaking of Chucky, we have another host in the building. Hey, McCoy. What it do?
Yes, same difference. I am a murderous doll, indeed. So we kind of have a lot of.
That's a little pastime we didn't know that Kane had. Interesting.
Another pastime.
You think you know people? Damn.
Only on days that end in Y. Very excited to be here. 100th episode, Women's Wrestling Talk Live. I haven't said anything that has gotten us kicked off Twitch yet.
That's a good point.
We're working on it, so we'll make
We're
it
working
happen.
on it.
Yeah.
We've kicked you off of the show a couple times, but the show itself has not gone off the air yet, luckily.
That part.
Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Did anybody get to watch this Chucky episode? Because definitely know
I watched
did not.
the clips that were in there. Like, there was a montage of the clips. Liv Morgan played herself, it should be noted too, in full gear and everything. And I don't really know the plot hole of it. I know they were friendly at first, but then Chucky pulled up. He caught Liv in 4K, brought up the evidence in the clip where she said in an interview where she wanted to be brutally murdered by Chucky. And
wow.
I mean, she got her wish.
Well played. Nice.
Yeah.
How they tie it together.
Yeah, okay, so I saw this. I was on the internet and they were like, Liv Morgan brutally stabbed by Chucky. And I was like, we have to find a way to like title that better.
Brutally stabbed was in quotes for a lot of them, to be fair.
Yeah, I saw one. It ain't have no type of quotations, no type of punctuation. I was very concerned. I was like, it wasn't like Liv Morgan's character. It was just like Liv Morgan brutally. I was like, did Sonya Deville send her people after her or something?
Wow. Wow.
You know, did Lacey Evans send them folks after her for payback for putting them through tables?
Maybe.
Like, put us through tables. We're going to put a butcher blade through you. So, a little concerned. So, wrestling publications, let's use some quotations and words. Those very much matter.
I used quotations in the article I wrote about it. So
yeah, I saw it. I was like, okay, somebody with the journalism school. Shouts to Ella J. Goodness gracious. Sheesh. But Liv Morgan is doing just fine. So
yeah, she has had a miraculous recovery.
Nice,
nice.
That may have been the funniest thing you said, Ella. Ella, you had said that she was brutally stabbed and died, but thankfully she's recovered, which I'm like, oh, that's great. You can recover from death. I love it. I love it.
WWE. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
exactly.
Liv Morgan.
Never in wrestling. Just saying.
Liv
Morgan is immortal now.
I was to say more like you only live twice.
No, I was gonna say watch her. I was gonna say watch her live tonight on Friday Night Smackdown.
Watch her live twice.
No, I think mine was good. That was to Kane.
Kane.
Watch her live tonight on Friday Night Smackdown.
Either way, we're both killing it.
Santana, you're talking about Kane, right?
That part. All right. For my folks in the chat, if you have liked the post, you have liked WWT, WWE Talk Pod, and you've liked all the hosts that are currently in this box, and the host will check, we will debut the first question in 10 minutes. So if you have, then you're going to go in the chat and just do like a little raise hand emoji. Like I've done it. The host will check and they'll confirm, and then we'll drop a question. But what do we have for our next story?
Well, we go from an act to a lawsuit, right? So WWE's been super active this year in terms of legal issues. I say that in quotes, but it's very much real. But there's one lawsuit that a lot of people have not been talking about, and that's this lawsuit involving MLW and WWE. So at the top of the year, MLW actually filed an antitrust lawsuit against the WWE. And so apparently there was a hearing that was scheduled for yesterday, but the hearing has been moved again to December 5th. Now, this is the second time that the hearing has been delayed or canceled, as it was originally scheduled for September. But the reason that it was delayed this time had nothing to do with MLW or WWE. It had much more to do with their judge, Judge Edward J. Davila, who happens to also be overseeing the high-profile case that involves the biotech entrepreneur Elizabeth Holmes. I'm sure you guys remember her. So that's the reason why this has been pushed back. Meanwhile, WWE has a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that was filed back in May, but there's not been a decision made on that. And this motion to dismiss is where WWE is claiming that this lawsuit from MLW is without merit. So we should have a ruling on that come December 5th for that particular hearing. And if indeed things do go forward with this, MLW will get the opportunity to present further evidence. So if you're wondering why MLW is even suing WWE, they're saying WWE attempted to undermine MLW by interfering with potential contracts and business prospects. They also say that WWE, by way of Stephanie, actually had MLW's deal with Tubi ended after she allegedly approached executives from Fox. Now, Fox, of course, broadcasts Smackdown, but Fox's corporation also owns Tubi. And she threatened, allegedly, that if the deal with MLW and Tubi continued, that Fox could lose business. So that's the whole reason for this lawsuit. We'll find out in December now, December the 5th specifically, whether or not this will actually happen. But this is allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Indeed, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether or not Stephanie McMahon blocked them from
TK.
getting on
TK.
to be.
Please.
Roll the clip.
Wow, we just gonna do this the whole.
I think he's trying for 100 of them since it's episode 100.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Speaking of that, we have another.
It's a
host.
tragedy. It's a Shakespearean tragedy.
Okay,
that
I
they
missed
can't
you.
have their own, I appreciate it.
Blue is in the building.
Wow.
How are you doing,
guys?
Blue?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Gosh, you came in right in time to save us from Kane and his.
You're a hero.
100
Hot
wonks.
Tag. Blue with the hot tag right now.
100 wonks. But what do we think of this? Do we think that one? Do you think, and this is all speculation, so don't quote us in any of this, but do you think Stephanie she did do that? That's one. And do you think that this case is actually going to go further, like opposed to just being dropped?
I mean, according to Court Bauer, she did. Because my man was very upset about this, right, Blue?
There's also a situation where WWE, before she had to take over for Vince, she was actually relieved from her position to deal with the situation. So it kind of drew some kind of speculation that this might have some truth to it. But then the whole Vince McMahon thing came around and kind of overshadowed the whole thing dealing with Stephanie, and she had to step in. And remember, she was gone for like a good 3-4 months because of this. And that's because they had evidence, like had her on a phone tap saying this. So that's why she had to step away and, and deal with that. That's what they said. They allegedly, the other side. Allegedly. They had a little phone conversation that they had on recording, and that's why she had to step away. But you never know.
Well, she was actually gone more like 3 or 4 weeks, not 3 or 4 months. Thanks to Vince.
Yeah, she was supposed to be gone.
She was supposed to be gone, but maybe I'm silly, but the billion-dollar company WWE, do they really need to stop MLW? Like, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe
well, it doesn't make sense. But I think there was a story with and I might have it kind of wrong, but Nike had a chance to squash. I think it was Reebok. And no, but they did end up squashing on N1. But I think it was Reebok or one of the other brands, and they didn't. And actually, you might be right. I think it also might be N1. Nike had a couple times to pretty much kill them before they even got started, and they didn't. And they kind of got big enough where they're creating a dent in their profit. So then they had to go back and do that. So I think for WWE, it's just kind of like, yeah, you want to let everybody grow. There's money enough for everybody. But on the flip side, would you rather just not deal with the problems at all? Because you have, the lawyers, you have the money, and deal with them on a smaller, scale versus them actually getting to a point where they can fight back. And now they also have the money and the lawyers, and now it's gonna cost more money all the way around. For a bigger company to really pretty much kill a smaller company, it's a lot easier and it's cheaper and it's faster. So yeah, the Christian way is to there's enough money for everybody. There should be platforms and everybody should enjoy it. However, the capitalist way is like, nah, son, we are going to step on your neck until you can. Well, actually, I shouldn't finish that statement, but we're going to just step on your neck. So
we're gonna curb stomp you. We're gonna Seth Rollins you. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna find out what happens. Remember, at this point, they're trying to say WWE's trying to say that it's without merit, but come December 5th, it all comes down to this judge. And if this judge says it's with merit, then ring the bell. We're gonna be going to court, and MLW must have something under their sleeves or taped under their tape and ready to blade WWE at any time. You got to remember, this is.
I don't think that's legal in a court of law, sir.
In the King's Court, with King of the Ring.
I think they'd be held in contempt, sir.
Well, for metaphor purposes, maybe. What?
You're just gonna end up with the record today.
We should have a little counter. But look, you got to remember too, WWE kind of sort of maybe almost did this involving TNN. Remember when ECW was on TNN and then WWE kind of backdoor their way out of the USA deal to sign with Viacom and sign to air Monday Night Raw on TNN and booted ECW off essentially. So this isn't something that isn't really new to what WWE has done as far as them being just the bigger kid on the playground who could control the sandbox. So I think for it to carry on this long, they feel that they have a case with MLW to have this happen. So December 5th, we're going to see what happens with this. And I guess if it's MLW versus WWE, then maybe Alex Hammerstone can continue his quest to look like Triple H. Exactly. So whoever wins could just get the entire Triple H gimmick from like the early 2000s. Seriously, Google Alex Hammerstone right now. Like,
oh no, I know who he is.
Like,
he's amazing.
Yeah,
He's
amazing. He looks like early 2000s Triple H. I love him. I think he cut his hair now, but he could grow back out and just, if they win it. But don't forget, MLW, they're not, up-ish creek without a paddle. They did announce the partnership with Pro Wrestling TV about 2 weeks ago, so they will be airing their flagship show, MLW Fusion, on there beginning in about a couple days. I think it's early November 3rd. Yeah, with Battle Riot.
They also got their Fightland pay-per-view on October 30th coming up on Sunday.
Yeah,
actually.
I think Taya is going to be doing.
She's defending against Trish Adora. Yeah.
Oh wow,
that should be a great match.
That should be great.
So before we do our next story, the first question is, and I'm going to take one of three answers, because I don't even know the answer myself. The first question is
We're live.
I'm wondering if this is gonna be hard. Okay. The first question is, WWT started in what year?
And there are three potential answers for that?
No, that's the second question.
Okay. I was
I have that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you find out what year, it's gonna lead into the next question. So that is the first question. Drop it in the chat. If you're the first person in the chat, we will let you know what the deal is. But what's the next story that we have?
We were talking about Smackdown earlier. We might be getting we're expecting to get a return tonight on Friday night. Smackdown.
Not WWT Live, Women's Wrestling Talk, the brand. And Santana, you can't answer you cannot answer the question. You are like second in command. You can't answer the question. Wait, is that why you tuned into the store at the very beginning?
She wants the cash and prizes.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. So yes, it can't be any WWT people who work.
I was like, in that case, log off to the chats I go.
Log off.
To the chat I go.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
I did say you could participate, but doesn't mean you're gonna win.
Fire me. Fire me. Sounds like someone's in the box. Fire me.
Oh gosh. All right. What's the next story?
Tonight on Friday Night SmackDown, Ronda Rousey will be holding an open challenge for her SmackDown Women's Championship, which is expected to be, as per PW Insider, Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, is backstage at SmackDown, and she is expected to not only return to WWE, but to answer Ronda Rousey. Allegedly, she is expected to accept Ronda Rousey's open challenge. Hope Chucky, oh my god, that would be something.
That would be funny. So because I think there was supposed to be 5 people that I think I was reading a headline that was like 5 people are potentially going to challenge her or up for the challenge for Ronda Rousey.
Maybe. There's also rumors too, not that it would happen right now, that Chelsea Green is also done with Impact Wrestling and she is potentially headed to WWE, but I don't think it would be this soon, obviously. But yes, it's reported that Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, is backstage. Now, the question is, does she return as Emelina? Does she return as All About Me? Or does she return as Dancing Emma? That's what I does she
debut as Tennille Dashwood?
Tennille, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
That
Anything but the dancing
Emma. Think about it. That dance was pretty ridiculous when you think about it.
It should be Emelina, but
yeah. Well, didn't Emelina end up going to Carmella anyway? So are they gonna have like an Emelina Carmella battle for the gimmick, or like a gimmick battle royal situation, and the winner gets like Carrie's prom night blood on her or something? Look, I think this is one of the. Yeah, right. Like I think this is a situation where they kind of got to treat it where they just retcon the entire Emma thing. I think she's been actually competing more under her real name than any other gimmick that she's had. So I think under Triple H, and again, she is a Triple H NXT gal, that she's going to get a proper push. And maybe it was kind of like put into the contract that, hey, I'm coming back here. Please don't have me doing no weird borderline Nazi dancing. Her arms was doing this weird thing. You remember that back in the day? It was kind of like, woo, we tiptoeing the line here. But I think she might be Tenille, and I think that might be a quick little wink acknowledgement to Emma, to like maybe the Evolution won't be televised or something like that. But that's what I would like to see. I don't know.
There's no way she beats Ronda. I just want to make that clear. There's no way. But hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Before we continue, we have JD. Correct. 2017 is when Wrestling Talk started. I know,
he researched.
Right? 2017 is when Women's Wrestling Talk started. So what you're gonna do, JD, is you're gonna go to For Your Wear. It's at the bottom right there.
Nice.
And
that's my company.
you're gonna go to For Your Wear, and you're going to select a shirt that you want. Hit them up, let them know your size. Would they send the address and everything? Blue?
Yeah, DM the product, the color, the size, and name and address.
And we will take care of that. So make sure you go to. I'm gonna leave it up for a while. Go to Blue's company. Check out a shirt, all that good stuff. DM him.
Our Twitter's the same. The Twitter's the same. For Your Wear.
DM him and then tell him what size, what type of shirt you want, all that good stuff, and we got you. So congratulations, JD.
Very nice.
Very nice. And we'll have the next question coming up in about 5 minutes.
You have Santana flabbergasted.
Bewildered.
Oh, goodness. Wow, JD.
Size buff. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. All right. I mean, it's fitting because he wears a buff. He knows his history. He's a history buff. I understand. Shout out to JD.
You and JD.
I think that's 6, 5, or
I
6 at least.
5. At least.
Complimenting
I don't
people.
know.
Just complimenting people.
He's gonna get to
all right.
Easily.
All right. I forgot what we were talking about. What was
Tenille Dashwood, aka Emma, coming back tonight. So I'm gonna be excited to see if this goes down. She has more than one reason to return to SmackDown. She is, of course, dating Madcap Riddick Moss.
That's true.
So maybe they'll find a situation for them to kind of put those guys together. Because he ain't really got much of anything going on post Baron Corbin.
Who would they face then on SmackDown? Like if they were a team, like who's on SmackDown right now?
Find a way to have like Miz escape Raw with Maurice with them.
All the couples are on Raw.
Yeah, the couples are on Raw. That's true.
Except for Karrion Kross.
That's true. And Scarlett. That's true.
And
that's true.
Scarlett.
Yeah. So just throw those guys together, and they can like have a ball.
Or I guess you could work in Hit Row or Zelina, and all of them. I mean, I guess you do have a couple
developing
options.
couples that you can do.
By the way, speaking of SmackDown, who will be the Hit Row mystery partner? Because everyone is saying it could be Carmelo Hayes.
Okay. So it was actually reported who it was.
Oh gosh.
Do you want to know?
Give it to me.
It was reported. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Fightful or something, that it would be Shinsuke Nakamura. So I read that today. So we'll see if it turns out to be Shinsuke Nakamura. But as of allegedly, that's the plan.
Allegedly. The hell are they
That
doing?
makes
Like
absolutely no sense, but whatever.
I guess Shinsuke something better. He deserves so much better than what they've been.
That part.
Yeah, like
this is-
aligning Shinsuke Nakamura with Hit Row. Is Shinsuke supposed to be like Nigo from Bape or something? Is that what they're going to do? That's the angle they're going to take, that Shinsuke's the wrestling version of Nigo, and they're going to just link him up with Hit Row to be like the Neptunes or something. Please don't do this. We know WWE Creative watches WWT Talk Live, WWT Live, and don't do it. Call up R-Truth. Bring somebody, just because you sort of like it's.
I
like
mean,
a big
actually,
thing.
R-Truth might have been a better fit.
Yeah.
Given the fact that he actually dropped a new single, I think in the last 24, 48 hours. So I mean,
it would make sense.
Get rowdy. Time to move some things. Get rowdy.
Goodness. All right. So what do we have next?
Speaking of getting rowdy out in these streets, this man has been getting rowdy for a long time. The one and only Johnny Swinger. I happen to thoroughly enjoy Johnny Swinger. I remember him towards the end of WCW. Remember watching him a lot. He, of course, been doing his thizzle in TNA, or Impact Wrestling, I should say. And he signed a new contract. He was on the House of Hardcore podcast with Tommy Dreamer and said that he signed a 1-year extension. Johnny Swinger is 47 years old. He said that they're going to offer him another year. So he's going to be in there. I think Johnny Swinger has been doing an awesome job on Impact Wrestling. If you haven't seen his work, go back and watch it. Everything with the Swingers Casino and whatnot and everything. He's just entertaining. And even if you watched him at this past Bound for Glory, I think it was Bound for Glory, where he was in there with Brother Ray, with Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer and Rhino and all the ECW originals. The guy is a throwback to what wrestling was and what it can be for the future. And I think he could teach the current girls and guys something.
I was there too for the recent BTI match that he had against Dirty Dango, and honestly, that was one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen in my life. Went a lot longer than I expected, but with Zicky Dice in the mix too, accompanying Johnny Swinger, that was like a pretty good match, very entertaining quality. I suggest watching that one too.
Yeah, so we have more money to fund Swingers Palace, and we're gonna see what goes down with my guy Johnny Swinger. Seriously, watch Johnny Swinger in WCW, bro. Like he's just an hilarious wrestler. Like you just see him and it's just like, this guy makes me giggle whenever I see him on TV. So yeah, it's like a match I think you can find. Like if you watch a lot of WCW Worldwide, that was kind of like his thing. He was on Worldwide and Saturday Night Live. So that's kind of like a throwback of like people who was actually in WCW who's like still around wrestling. So Johnny Swinger, swing on by and watch some Johnny Swinger, and swing on by Swingers Palace and spend your money. I'm sure you can
with your WWE credit card.
With your WWE superstar credit card, exactly. You like use that to waste.
TK's mad that I set you up for that.
Like that, folks. This how we pay for all the merch there.
Give both of them up.
This how you pay for all the merch.
I think Ella's low-key encouraging him.
Let him share this one.
Yeah. See, me and Ella are like the people who do really good in class when we're not near each other, and then we sit by each other and mayhem ensues.
Okay.
We apologize to nobody.
Who do we have next? What do we have next?
Well, some news reported right here on www.talkpod.com is there is a new Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame that is being created. It is in conjunction with the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is located in Albany, New York. Documentarian Christopher Anino has put this whole thing together, and it's interesting. There are 4 categories for this Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame. It will include a pioneer. That's for female wrestling trailblazers who paved the way. There's an amateur category, which is for female Olympians, female NCAA athletes who have made significant contribution to women's amateur wrestling. Then there's the professional category, which is for obviously those who made a significant contribution to pro wrestling. And then there is the non-wrestling category, and that includes referees, coaches, managers, valets, promoters, executive, broadcasters, etc. And so the first class for this Hall of Fame, which will be the class of 2023, is headlined by former WWE Women's Champion and NWA Women's Champion, the legendary Jazz. And so that's going to all take place on December the 17th at the Icons of Wrestling Convention at the former ECW Arena. The other inductees for this class include Cora Livingston, Mildred Burke, Beverly Hammer Shade, Babs Wingo, Marva Scott, Ethel Johnson, Luna Vachon, which is going to be dope, Tony Rose and Donna Cristanello, Susan Tex Green, Rita Marie Chatterton, Olympic gold medalist Arani Merlini, and get this, the entire Glow promotion. So that's pretty awesome.
And
very,
somebody
very well
who's been on WWT, Medusa, is also getting inducted. So that's going to be super exciting.
That is good. Yeah, definitely shout out to Ricky. He actually, ironically, I was going through the website, www.talkpod.com. Definitely go and check it out. And I was like, oh, this is an interesting story. So shout out to Ricky for writing it, Santana for editing it, all that good stuff. That's where you get all your women's wrestling talk information. So, there it is. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's more than necessary. Obviously, women's wrestling has been super significant to finally have its own Hall of Fame that's directly connected to the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame is major. So this is going to be exciting. Now, it's going to be a primarily virtual Hall of Fame, but there will be artifacts and things that are involved actually at the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Albany. But yeah, this is going to be sweet on December the 17th. It's part of the Icons of Wrestling Convention at the former ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena as it's
Are you going to be there, Ella? Is that your neck of the woods? Is it close?
Well, that's where it was for Bound for Glory. I went to Albany, so it's reachable, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's in Philadelphia, right? The 2300.
Well, the 2300 Arena is in Philly, but the actual Hall of Fame is in Albany.
Yeah,
there it is. Before Ella and Blue have to get out of here, I'm going to pose the next question. It's going to be in the banner, so that gives you a little bit of time to look for it. So you're going to name the first wrestler that was interviewed by Women's Wrestling Talk. So I don't know why it's not going a ticker, but it's right there. While you guys are looking it up, because you have to go back to 2017 if you're going to look it up. While you guys are looking that up, Ella, where can everybody find you?
I'm so sorry, I'm blurry. I'm trying to adjust my camera. It's just not working. But you can find me. Oh, now there we go. You can find me on Twitter at It's Ella J. If you go to the link tree in my bio, you can find the link to most of my stuff.
That damn Bray Wyatt coming in.
Ella has a lot of things going on. 2013 job. She's a writer. She's a producer. You can catch her on Women's Wrestling Talk, amongst other things. We're going to be doing interviews, all that good stuff. There you go. JG found the gram. And then Blue, where can everybody find you?
Everybody can follow me at Blue Magic Grind, Spearhead Sound, the Mixed Tag Show with Miss Jenna Baby, my co-host. Also, you can follow us at For Your Wear, some of the indie wrestlers and podcasters. Merchandise currently. We dropped an exclusive merchandise for Trisha Dora last week, so check that out. Today we announced O'Shea Edwards, Big Bad Kaiju, with his exclusive merch today, so check that out as well. And we'll continue to grow and get your Women's Wrestling Talk merch all the time there as well. And that's where you can find us.
Sounds good, Jade. I hope you found Blue JD and the website. Take care of that because, after the show is done, the show is done. So just FYI, we're not doing. There's no backseas here. But thank you, thank you, Blue. Thank you, Ella. We will see you guys next week. All right. So for the folks who are joining us, this is the 100th episode. That means we're doing big things. JD just won a shirt from For Your Wear, so definitely go and check out that website. The next question for the next prize is name the first wrestler interviewed by Women's Wrestling Talk. So you're gonna have to dig in the crates for that one. It's actually really not that hard to dig, but if you're not familiar with doing extensive research, then it's gonna take you a little bit, but you will like the prize. Santana, I will allow you to answer at 3:55. If nobody else answers at 3:55, you can answer. You got it. Look, you know what? It's so funny because I would do the same thing. It's like you didn't really specify
Mhm.
the rules, so I'm showing up,
Mhm.
and we'll see
Mhm.
what happens.
I gotta see the
With
paper.
that being said, what do we have next?
Well, I guess I'll go with the PWI 150, which just came out earlier this week. Big things with this list. So PWI last month dropped the PWI 500, of course, which of course is dealing with primarily the male side of things, although there were some women involved on that particular list who particularly involved in intergender matches. But now the PWI 150 is all about the best women's wrestlers in the world. And so the criteria for this particular list, they looked at in-ring activity, influence, technical ability, and activity, which means it needed a minimum of 10 matches or 6 months involved in this. Also, they looked at the breadth and the quality of competition. The evaluation period was October the 1st, 2021 through September the 15th, 2022. So I'll just give you the top 10 on this list because there's 150 folks. We don't have time for that. But the top 10, and this is why a lot of people are talking. So at number 10, it's Taya Valkyrie. Number 9, it's the Starlight Kid from Stardom. Number 8 is Charlotte Flair. Just put a pin there. Number 7 is Saya Kamatani, also from Stardom. Number 6 is Jordan Grace. Number 5 is Jade Cargill. Number 4 is Becky Lynch. Number 3 is Thunder Rosa. Number 2 is last year's number 1, Bianca Belair, which means the brand new number 1 is from Stardom, and her name is Shuri. So a lot of people have had a lot to say specifically about this. And what I will say, I have 2 thoughts on this. Well, I'll go with my one primary thought, which is one of the primary reasons for all of these lists is to really bring attention to the people that are on these lists. So if there are names on these lists that you are unaware of, it now gives you the opportunity to actually research them and discover who they are. I think the challenge for a lot of US fans is we all know who Bianca Belair is. We all can talk about Bianca Belair. If you're unfamiliar with Stardom, you would not know why Shuri is on this list at number 1. And I will say that Shuri has gained the reputation by many as being the best wrestler in the world, male or female. And when you start doing some research on her, it's very, very interesting. But to me, and this is the other thing I'll say about lists. Lists are not infallible. Okay. So everybody has lists, and there are going to be people who agree with said lists and not, and they will disagree. Like, it's going to create conversation, and that too is okay. PWI actually even said in the article, we know some people are going to disagree. So they're very well aware of it. I have some interesting thoughts about some of the folks on the list, but either way, I think the list did what it was supposed to do, which is to get us talking and hopefully get us researching in some of these particular cases. So that list is available on the latest issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which you can get digitally, or you can wait until it all comes out. But yeah, it's an incredible read. A lot of amazing wrestlers are in here from the independent circuit or not. So yeah, check it out. The PWI Women's 150 is available right now.
And before you answer, Casey, so Shaul Guerrera isn't one of them. You're actually looking at, so I'm going to give you a little bit of history, so maybe that will help with your deep diving. Women's Wrestling Talk used to be called Women's Wrestling Weekly. So all the interviews are actually on our YouTube page and on our website. However, if you want a clue, you can start looking at Women's Wrestling Weekly, and that will take you to the first 3 years of interviews. That's so you're I know where you got Shaul Guerrera from, but that's like 4 years later that we have. Like, I really actually need to count all the interviews. I've been meaning to. I find it so amazing when like these podcasts like interview number 200. I'm like, we should do that. And then I start counting and I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Look at them cataloging.
I'm not doing this. So yeah. So what do you think, Kane, about PWI?
Yeah, I saw the list and I was somewhat familiar with Shuri from her UFC days, actually. So I was kind of like, oh, where? That's right. She is actually wrestling in Stardom. This feels like more of a lifetime achievement for her.
Hmm.
I feel like that with a lot of things going on with New Japan Pro and Stardom and New Japan Pro kind of coming together. She was in a dark match 2 years ago for the 2021 Wrestle Kingdom. I can't remember her being on this past Wrestle Kingdom, nor the upcoming Wrestle Kingdoms. Really, maybe with this she'll be in. So I'm gonna have to go back and kind of like watch her more. The glaring oversight is not seeing Mandy Rose in the top 10. I thought that was crazy, considering that their qualification period pretty much runs the same time as her NXT Women's Championship run. I thought that wasn't very rosy of them not to include Miss Mandy Rose. Actually, I
Yeah,
couldn't
she's
saw that.
number. Well, it's interesting to your point. She's number 21 on the list.
Yeah.
And I think to that end, I think that may be a bigger statement about what they thought of the importance of NXT 2.0 in comparison to the other things. Because remember, during that entire phase, NXT 2.0 was now really redefined as developmental. So, you know, to take a developmental championship and put it on the same par and scale as these other women's world championships may not be fair. So there's that. Now, I don't know. I'm not gonna upset the apple cart. I'm not gonna do it. But
well, maybe I was gonna say, well, PWI must take something from Mandy Rose because they're definitely been a toxic attraction with this list.
Oh wow. Now I'm not.
That will lead us before we continue. That will lead us to our next section. So,
lose or draw.
So with this list, and also by the way, FYI, if you want a deep dive of PWI, we are literally after this show, so you're going to want to stay on. We are going to be having an after show talking about, you know, not all the wrestlers because we don't have that type of time, but talking about the rankings. And we're going to also have Christy from PWI to discuss how they got to that number. So it's really helpful when you have somebody who was in the room helping to make those decisions and the qualifying. And we did this last year. So you definitely want to tune into that. Santana will also be on there as well because she did not get fired for the day. So yeah. So with that being said, the segment win, lose, or draw, do you think lists like this? I personally think out of a lot of the lists that's been out and that we've discussed since WWT Live has been around, this one is a little bit more comprehensive. It's like you might not agree. It's like talking about somebody's top 5, you know, rap artists or whatever. You might not necessarily agree with the number or what the placement, but as far as it making sense, opposed to some other lists we've discussed, it's just like, okay, I can understand how they would come to that. So do you think with doing these lists, in particular, is it a win to like discuss this? Is it a draw, meaning that's like, okay, well, you know, here it is, this is great, you know, it is what it is, or is it a loss because it's just like now it's taking away from, you know, wrestlers, you know, and you know, somebody who's been busting their butt and maybe they were hoping to be a part of this list, or maybe they thought they were going to be higher and you know the ranking doesn't necessarily work for them. So where do you think this list kind of falls?
Who do you want to start this one?
Well, I think that it's a win. I think that since we've been able to have a separate PWI to highlight women's wrestling and bring acknowledgement and bring more eyes to the product, then overall it's a win because it gets us talking and it shows a mass interest in women's wrestling, to which I've been saying for a long time is no longer just some special attraction. It is the meats and bones, the gravy, the potatoes of real wrestling cards. And I think with this list, you can look at the names and say, oh, okay, I never heard of this person. I can watch their matches. I can go and watch this match, or maybe this wrestler should have been higher. You guys just saw my passion about Mandy Rose not being in the top 10. I think that's absurd. And it just goes to show that, you know, Mandy Rose's run has been that dominant that you feel like she should be included in there. We wouldn't even have this list 10 years ago, nor have the same passion towards women's wrestling. So I think it's definitely a win overall.
Yeah, so I actually think it's a win. I believe the question was overall about lists themselves, and I do think that including this list in there as well, I think, as I've always said, as long as the lists have clear criteria, then we kind of know what we're looking at. And I think one of the biggest wins for these lists is because we get to look and research a number of wrestlers we haven't seen before. One of the things I used to love about PWI when it was primarily a magazine was that it gave me the opportunity to learn about wrestlers that I was unaware of. You know, growing up in New York, pre-internet, you know, we didn't have access. If you didn't have certain cable channels, you couldn't see the NWA. You couldn't see, you know, a lot of that was very regional. So I would go to PWI to learn about some of these other wrestlers so that when they finally showed up, whether they showed up in WWE or I got access to the places they were, I would start to know who they were. So PWI has been doing this effectively for a very, very long time. And now, you know, they have updated the ways in which they do that. So now it's available digitally. It's a win. You know, I know for me, I'm going back to research a bunch of folks from Stardom, which I've wanted to do for a long time anyway. I did some right before I got on the show today. Like, that's what it's supposed to do. I've seen on the male side how a lot of the independent wrestlers have really been impacted positively by it. You know, as an independent wrestler, you now are able to say, hey, I made the PWI 500, which gives you an opportunity to get booked more in other places. From a commentary perspective, it gives me more content to really build that particular wrestler up. This is why you should care about them, because they're ranked, you know, one of the top 100 wrestlers in the world or what have you. So I think it's a massive win. And I think as wrestling fans, we are all entitled to whoever our favorites are. But if we are fans of pro wrestling as a sport, then we take this as an opportunity to learn about the people we don't know. And we might have our opinions changed once we actually discover some of these people that we're unaware of.
Yeah, and again, just as the overall of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which is like the Bible when it comes to professional wrestling. Big shouts to Bill Apter, you know, for always keeping it kayfabe with us. But to your point, G, I remember like reading the magazines and looking at all the rankings and seeing the names of the wrestlers. Have been like, oh, okay, and then seeing that person maybe appear on WCW or WWF or ECW, and I think now, you know, we could just see a name and just automatically Google it, you know what I mean? And just watch their matches. And 10 minutes ago, somebody we never heard of, we're now watching 2 or 3 matches of them. So I think it's big to the fact that this was a Joshi wrestler, you know what I mean? Like, we're starting to see this kind of like evolution of Joshi, and the fact that there's going to be most likely Joshi on, you know, Wrestle Kingdom in January. Maybe it is a Sasha Banks match. We saw that thing she tweeted on Instagram, that screenshot of her and Kerry saying, well, I was like, I told you, January 4th, she might be up there. We got to unbox her.
Get him. Get him.
Out the box. Out the box. The box. I had to unopen the box, but you know, yeah, G, like
you're lucky. I got a womp when I mentioned her, so
yeah. Oh man. Now we know for the 100th episode where the budget's going to. Okay, the budget's getting up, and we're getting an episode here.
That box is right though. I love the box.
I mean, but overall, y'all, I say look at the names on this list, check out the names on this list. And learn you something, especially for some of the guys, for some of the guys that you don't know, like Starlight Kid and Saya and Shuri. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna make you feel that much better when you're up at 3 a.m. while watching some Puricell.
Well, and I'll say this much too. One of the things about Shuri is that her match in December, where she won, I think it was the red belt from the Stardom title, is the only women's match from Dave Meltzer to get 5 stars. It got 5.5 stars, if you can imagine that. Now we know he has an affinity towards Japanese wrestling for sure, but the fact that these 2 women got 5.5 stars, it's like, no, we need to go watch this, and they wrestled for like 43 minutes. Which is pretty incredible. So
it's like her and Utami or something.
Right. So that's why it's hard for me to just, dismiss the list if I'm unfamiliar with the people.
Right.
That's unfair.
Yeah. All right. So before we get out of here, we're gonna do the heel of the day. But before we do that, because I'm gonna be fair. So Santana and Sammy, you guys do have my number. Drop me your Cash App in WhatsApp. Casey and JD, go to my IG page and drop me your Cash App. So my IG is literally the same everywhere. Like my name is the same everywhere. You have until 4:30 to do this.
American time.
Casey
30 minutes.
Casey and JD, go to my Instagram and drop me your Cash App name, Santana of Santana 359. Santana and Sammy, go to my WhatsApp and drop me your Cash App name. Oh Lord, I tell you what, definitely shout out to Santana. She is one of the hardest working people. She's on it, and JD, tell me your shirt size, and to me, if you haven't hit up For Your Wear, tell me what shirt you want, your shirt size, and your address, and then also give me your Cash App, and then Casey as well. But shout out to Santana, working with people who like get it, and you just say, hey, and it gets done is absolutely amazing. And it's just, she's been a blessing. So hopefully, by the time this end of this year comes around, some good things will be happening for Women's Wrestling Talk. But thank you guys so much for rocking with us. And actually, I was going to pull up the answer. The answer to that question, Sammy was right. The first interview was, where was it, Sammy? Michelle Dagger from WOW. So she, ironically, we actually played football together. So I was able to call in a favor for our very first interview. So definitely go and check out that interview if you want to, and then kind of go from there. But who do we have for? I know that you have to dig deep. Who do we have for our
heel of the day? Well, today's heel of the day comes to you once upon a time in holy matrimony. From the runways to the entrance ramp, making her way down to be heel of the day. I'm talking about Giselle Bundchen. Giselle, the supermodel, the soon-to-be super divorcee of Tom Brady, is the heel of the day. Now, how you gonna make somebody who just got a divorce from Tom Brady the heel of the day, Kane McCoy? Here's why, Women's Wrestling Talk viewer. Because Giselle should have known that Tom Brady loves football more than anything in the world. See, Giselle tried to take away Tom Brady from what he loves most. And it's anything we know about these pros out here, Giselle should have known you can't turn a pro into a house husband. And that's what she tried to do. Try to make that happen. Tom Brady is for the cleats. Tom Brady belongs to these cleats. And really, when you think about it, Giselle should have known that Giselle's marriages to Tom Brady was invalid the entire time because Tom Brady is married to the game, folks. Tom Brady is married to the game. It's football forever. Okay.
You said the whole marriage was invalid.
Wow. It was invalid because she can't be married to him if he married to the game, G. He was married to the game.
Did she give him an ultimatum? Like, what is the story behind this? Like, I haven't really been following it closely. Are you just assuming? Is this all allegations?
If you guys remember, Tom Brady took randomly 11 days. What a very specific odd number. 11 days off back in training camp so he can deal with some personal issues. No one knew what it was, but there was speculation that, you know, for a guy who retired and then spent like 42 days back at home and said, hit us with the Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's coming back to play football just to be spiteful to Adam Schefter, who reported his retirement, just so he wouldn't have to spend time with his kids and help him do homework. That should have been a situation right there. But Giselle was like, so do you want to come back and play late football? Because, you know, she's like Brazilian, so she got to do the accent. But like, and Tom Brady was like, babe, you know I'm married to the game. And then that's when the beef started because she was worried about him wanting to come back. So now we have this situation. Tom Brady tweeted as well about he did the Notes app and said that they were gonna, you know, be together for the kids and whatnot. So, but Giselle Bunch in the hill of the day. I mean, for once, Giselle Bundchen is the hill of the day because she now joins Eli Manning and Nick Foles as people who have taken away a ring from Tom Brady.
Wow.
Hill of the day.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Wow.
Professor, I don't even. I have nothing. I have nothing to add to this. I
have nothing. Wow.
Okay.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I am not the father, the stepfather. I'm the father who stepped up. What's that? I ruined it.
What?
I was gonna say to Giselle and the kids, you know, if y'all need anybody to throw you some 4-yard route passes, then you know, I'm here.
All right. Well, y'all, before we get out of here, definitely keep it locked. We have literally a show coming up right after this. We're gonna be talking PWI extensively, so definitely keep it locked. But where can everybody find? See, even KC was. Where can everybody find you? Where can everybody find you, Kane? If they want more, I don't even know if you're tweeting this stuff, but if you want more, where can everybody find you?
Please, unfortunately, you can follow me here at Kane McCoy. See, follow it right there, or again, follow me at my burner account at Giselle Bunchton.
Professor, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Bonnerfied on all of the platforms. Southern Honor, our latest show, which was our anniversary show, just dropped on IWTV. So you can check that out right now. Battle Slam is this Sunday. Battle Slam Thriller. It should be fantastic. And I'll let you guys know once it hits Fight TV. I'm looking forward to that. Next week, more Southern Honor, Championship District Wrestling, all of those cool things. ProWrestlingTees.com/Bonner5 for all the merch. And my birthday is tomorrow. So it should be all sorts of fun times, or so I hope. So I get to work a wrestling show my birthday weekend. So I'm excited.
You don't have any plans? So wait, are you a Libra?
To you.
Virgo. Scorpio, I think.
Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Are you a Scorpio?
I think the 29th
really like
of October.
You don't seem like a Scorpio.
I don't know.
TK, what to do? Tarot card reading here.
No, I don't dig too deep in it, but there's certain signs that I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, Scorpio is October the 23rd through November the 21st. Yeah.
So you know what? You know why you haven't gotten on the bad side. You see the Scorpios come out when they get upset, and then bad things happen. So that's
I don't get upset very often. So
I mean, I can't wait for G's heel turn. It's gonna be exciting.
I don't want to see it. I'll pass.
It's gonna be a heel turn.
Nah.
I'm an Aries. I don't know if that means anything. I'm an Aries. But happy birthday,
I get along
G.
with Aries. That's why we get along very well. I get along with Aries really, really well.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Because me and TK are maniacs out here in these streets. Goodness gracious.
I just I allow Kane to do Kane, and I'm just
smart move.
Yeah. Feel free to reel it in anytime. Help me, shit. Help me, help you.
We'll
make it happen.
No thanks.
By the way, what Halloween is Monday. Are we gonna wear costumes?
It is.
You guys can wear costumes.
We're-
It's so funny though because I'm doing some things this weekend and they're like costumes are encouraged and it's like I remember the last couple of times I just like I'm dressing up as black, like I'm just gonna be black today. Yesterday, I'm just gonna be black tomorrow.
You mean
I think for Halloween I'm going to be the scariest thing in the world, and that is an employed black man. Yeah, I'm gonna be employed. But oh my God!
All right, y'all. Thank you guys.
He pays his taxes.
Thank you guys for joining. JD and KC, don't forget to DM me. You have literally until 4:30 to do so because if I get a DM tomorrow, it ain't happening. So just FYI. Definitely check out the website, www.talkpod.com, for all the articles and all that great stuff. Check out our social media, www.talkpod. Definitely check out our social media, WWT. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our 100th episode of WWT Live. So many amazing things are buzzing, are happening in the back scenes, in the backstage. But thank you guys for joining the chat. JD, Casey, Santana, Sammy, and everybody else who is watching. Don't forget to follow us on all social medias. Like I said again, thank you guys for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao, y'all.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.